Hi everyone. My name is Jayden. I'm the sales engineer from Cybereason. Right. Today I don't have any slides for you, so I want to actually do a demonstration session so that you will have the visual, right, and a very clear understanding of what are the values that Cybereason XDR will actually bring to you or your organization. So what is XDR? XDR stands for Extended Detection and Response. So it actually built on top of the traditional endpoint security solution, your EPP, right? And it actually evolves to EDR because EPP solution will not be able to do 100% of prevention, right? So that's why you need a EDR solution to actually do the detection, right? And also a UI for the security analysts to quickly understand the scope of the attack, understand clearly how the attack basically perform the attacks or each individual steps of tactics and techniques to the endpoint. And finally, XDR, which is the Extended Detection and Response. So even with the full name of Extended Detection and Response, what is the idea of that? In the traditional security, we know that every organization will have different security solutions. You can choose the best of the breed from firewall, like maybe different brands. For example, Fortinet, Checkpoint, Palo Alto. From your identity, it can be your Azure AD. Your multi-factor authentication can be from OneLogin, Okta, right? So organization now will have their own flexibility of choosing their own security solutions. But today, all these security solutions are actually very silo, right? Even though they have integration, but it's not like the whole integration ecosystem. So the idea of XDR or Cybereason XDR, it's open XDR. So what's open XDR? Which means that today we want to actually be vendor agnostic, right? Which means that we will be able to actually ingest all the security events from your different security stacks, right? Right? As long as there's a use case that you want to achieve, there's a security value that you want to achieve. And you may think to yourself now, since you are ingesting logs and security events, then what is the difference between your XDR and SIEM or SIEM? So the idea of SIEM is really ingesting the logs, raw telemetry logs, and creating rules and generating alerts. So these are actually alert-centric. But the fact that security analysts for big organization, it may have hundreds of thousands of alerts every day. And you cannot guarantee that the security analyst will be able to analyze all of the security alerts in the single day. It may actually drag over to the next day. And when the security analysts go through the alerts, there are a lot of false positive, right? And basically this will actually give the attacker advantage because time is very critical. The longer time you use to investigate, the better chance for the attacker to penetrate to the endpoint and as well as spreading the infections to the other endpoints. So Cybereason XDR, the vision is open XDR. We want to actually integrate the whole ecosystem, right? Ingest all the security logs from your security solution and bring out the security value to your organization. So here, from the demo screen here, you can see this is the XDR dashboard, right? This is just for illustration purpose. We will tell you that what are the amount of events that we generated, and all of this amount of generated events, how many of them are suspicious. So this is actually automatically filtered, right? You don't have to actually create any additional rule because we map every single event to MITRE ATT&CK framework, which means that we will tell you that each individual security event, what is the tactic and technique used by the attacker. For example, you can see that there is discovery, right? There is execution, there's credential access, there's command and control. And MITRE techniques, there is network and service discovery, brute force attack. So today, then this will help your organization to understand your cyber security posture. How is your organization is being targeted most? For example, network service discovery. That means that attackers are utilizing network scanning techniques to actually discover all the endpoints connected to the network. Then you can basically, come up with a strategy to actually, strengthen this based on these techniques used by the attacker. Now, after we ingest all these raw telemetry security events, we don't just act like a SIEM. SIEM basically just take the logs, creating an alert, present whatever logs that is generated from the security stacks, right? Cybereason basically enrich this data, right? We don't just ingest. We want to actually bring you the security value. For example, you can see this is from Fortinet FortiGate, right? We basically will actually further enrich and come up with our own conclusion mapped to the MITRE ATT&CK framework. And this is initial access and drive-by compromise. So this will basically make the analyst to understand what is this security event about, instead of going through the raw logs and manually investigate. So this basically drastically cut down the investigation time from the analyst's perspective, right? And now analysts can quickly understand from this event in 1 single minute, instead of spending maybe 10 minutes to go through each individual telemetry, all right? And you can see, right, the integration is not just about Cybereason AV, Cybereason EDR. There is integration from, just for example, from here, there's Microsoft, there's Proofpoint, OneLogin, Fortinet, any, right? It doesn't have to be the solutions that you see from here, right? So, now, what's most interesting here for Cybereason XDR? So here we have a use case. It's called email phishing leading to data exfiltration. Now, we tell you the scope of the attack, right? How many assets is being involved in this attack? How many of them is being affected? What are the steps taken by the attacker, right? There's credential access, there's valid accounts login, data manipulation, initial access, phishing, right? And how many data sources contributed to this event. Now, if you understand this, there are seven data sources. In the traditional security way, you will have 7 different alerts. But Cybereason XDR automatically consolidate into one single security event and basically tell you each individual steps made by the attacker. So first, it's phishing. We see the security event from Microsoft 365, right? Proofpoint, be it your email security solution. Okay. Now, Microsoft 365 is showing it as a phishing email, as impersonation email. Proofpoint actually flag out as an imposter. Right? We can tell from the identity, from the source, it's sales.admin@lazada with double D. Right? And of course, Microsoft 365 is only alert. Proofpoint basically allowed. Right? Which means that this is not being blocked. Now, shortly after that, we see another event from your Microsoft Defender for endpoint. There is a suspicious URL clicked. Now this can be, in this case, it's Microsoft. It can be your other web security, be it Trend Micro or any security solutions that you can think of. So this is just one of the integration or one of the use case that you can see. So every single step is mapped to the MITRE ATT&CK, telling you what is the tactic and technique used by the attacker. Now, you may have this question now. How is Cybereason able to actually automatically do the correlation? How are you able to tell after that event, this is the event, shortly after? This is with our strong cross-machine correlation engine that is doing the work. If you notice, each event will have their identity. They have their time. So with the AI, with the machine learning, with the cross-machine correlation engine, because the identity is David.Tan, right? And shortly after a few minutes, we do see the same David Tan, right, appear in the security event. And this being automatically mapped to this next step for the attacker. So after the David click on the URL, what happened? There is Mimikatz happen. Probably a malicious payload that is being downloaded to the endpoint. And as we understand, Mimikatz is credential theft, right? As we can see, it's credential access that is being used by the attacker. Again, the identity is still David. Now, moving on. After the Mimikatz, what happened? We do see an unfamiliar sign-in from your Azure AD, right? It can be from your on-prem AD or any of your cloud apps, right? As long as integrated. So why? Because we do see this event is being triggered from your identity. And again, the identity is David. So what happens next? After the unfamiliar sign-in from a remote IP, we can see there is a mass download of data that performed by David, right? And this is triggered by the Microsoft Defender. So, and at the end, you can see there is a data manipulation, which is a bulk delete triggered by your Netscope. Right? It can be any of your CASB solution, can be any of your cloud DLP solution. So if you can see, right, this sequence of event is automatically mapped. This basically drastically save your analyst investigation time from days to just simply 5 minutes to really understand the whole scope of the attack. Now, so what can the analysts do after they understand the scope of the attack? Cybereason XDR automatically give you the recommended response, which means that the analysts today, after they understand the attack, they don't have to scratch their head and think, what should I do, right? Automatically, there is a response that is being recommended. For example, reset user password of this user, block the email sender, block the specific IP. And as for today, we will be able to actually commit changes or apply rules directly from Cybereason UI to your AD, that's one, as well as your firewall, which means that from the UI itself, there's an API call directly to your firewall devices and block certain IP, right? So you may think that, hey, this is a SOAR capability. Yes, it's some sort of that as well, right? So now basically you are actually basically you are actually responding to the threat much faster. You are stopping from the attackers from spreading the infections to many other endpoints, right? So yeah, that's my end of demo. If you have any questions or you would like to know more, feel free to drop by to our booth. Yeah, we can have a more in-depth conversation.